So some key takeaways then from today. So number one is, trust your instincts, pay attention to how someone makes you feel. With the email after this event, there's going to be something that's going to help you with your intuition. If you feel that maybe, like many of us, you ignore your sort of gut feeling, or, you're not as connected to it as you would like to be, then there's a meditation, a guided meditation that you can listen to that really helps you to connect with that and strengthen it. Another key takeaway is to balance awareness. So look for both red and green flags, and be kind to yourself. It's okay to make mistakes during dating, and you're not always going to judge somebody in the right way. You may make mistakes. You may not see a red flag and you might see it later, but that's okay. You can learn from that and move on. So as I said, we're going to send you some emails after this event, and there will be a red and green flag checklist that I created for you as an ongoing tool that you can use on your dating and relationship journey. It is red and green flags in relationships and dating, so it's quite useful. It has some early warning signs that you can look out for. It talks about red flags, toxic sort of behaviors in relationships. It actually has some examples of how you could spot that. And I do believe that by spotting red flags, it can really, really help you to fast track you to a healthy, good relationship, because it just stops you wasting time and it protects your own emotional well-being as well. And then there's also, in the email, there'll be a link to this meditation that I created, which is connecting to your intuition and grounding guided meditation. And that just helps you to strengthen your own connection with your intuition as well. So I'm going to unshare my screen in a moment, and there'll be a Q&A, and you can type in any experiences, any questions you might have. I have some frequently asked questions as well that I'll go through, so you can type those in, but I will unshare in a moment and open up the chat. So you can type in your questions or comments in the chat, and you might have questions about red flags, your experiences in dating, in relationships. Feel free to just share your thoughts and stories, whatever you want to share. And I'll also share some frequently asked questions and my answers about red flags and dating. So I'm just going to go here. Bear with me a moment, and I will unshare my screen now. Stop sharing. Okay. All right. So in the chat, you can write anything you want, any questions you might have, any feedback, any experiences that you want to share. Please do type them in the chat, and whilst you're doing that, if you want to share, if you feel comfortable, do. Well, I'll go through some questions that I get asked about red flags as well. So one question that I have is, how can I tell if someone is lying or exaggerating during a 5-minute conversation? This is specific to speed dating. So the answer really then is to, look for inconsistencies in their story. So you can look for details that don't add up. You can pay attention to body language. Somebody, doesn't always follow, but somebody might not be meeting your eyes, avoiding eye contact if they're not telling the truth. Also, if their tone seems quite rehearsed as well, that's something to be aware of as well. So just trust your intuition with that. And you can always ask clarifying questions, as I said before, like you can ask, what did you mean by that? Or you can ask, them to clarify something if you feel that something's inconsistent. It's not about catching them out, it's just about you getting a good sense of that person. Another question that I have sometimes is, what are subtle red flags that might not be obvious at first? So they can be things like, okay, let me, whilst I've just got the chat open, I never have joy in speed dating. Okay. And Mark, have you done the sort of traditional speed dating events? Is that what you've done, the sort of in-person speed dating events before, where you go to an event and you move around and you chat to people? Just type in there if you're willing, just to let me know what you've done there. Yeah, what are subtle red flags that might not be obvious at first? Subtle red flags include dismissiveness, cutting off your answers, a lack of genuine engagement, like failing to ask follow-up questions, and then other indicators, vague responses, and then, as we said before, talking about past relationships with sort of a bitterness or a blame. Should you mention that you have disabilities? Should you mention you have disabilities? I get contacts, but they say I live too far. Okay. So the first question, should you mention you have disabilities? Can you just clarify that? Is that like when you're on autism? Okay. Should you mention that in on speed dating? Yeah, I think it depends if you feel that you want, that you sort of feel comfortable with that person, and it is difficult in a 5-minute conversation, but I don't see why not. I think if you feel comfortable with that person, yeah, it does go too quick. Yeah, I know what you mean. I think there's probably not a right or wrong answer for that. I highly suspect that I have, I'm not diagnosed, but I have ADHD. So I might mention it on a speed date. I definitely probably would chat about it on a date. But maybe on the 5-minute date, but yeah, better to be upfront. However you feel about it, if you feel comfortable with that person and you just want to say, that's cool, I think. Yeah, goes too quick and goes slow sometimes. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, better to be upfront. That's true. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Definitely, I hope that helped. Struggle to keep conversation going. For that, I think it dries up. Okay, so I would have some questions like written down. I would have some questions written down. I would literally just say, sometimes I forget, and I have a few questions with me, or things like hobbies, etc. Yeah, like I would maybe write down a few things, and maybe some sort of things like, what do you like to do when you're not working? What do you do for work? Maybe you could ask a couple of things about families. Yeah, I don't think there's any right or wrong, really. You might not mention politics in a 5-minute speed date, because if you have differences there, but you can be yourself. Yeah, I think you can be yourself. There's no right or wrong. That's it. Yeah, I think so. Well, then another question. I've been to slow dating. What does that mean? Oh, the company. Okay. Slow dating. Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's why I like Speedy Dating as a good company, and it's a good concept because you get to sign up and you get to have some free dates, and then it's really affordable as well. And you can do that in the comfort of your own home. So, that's why I think this is a great concept to try speed dating. They stopped doing. Oh, in Torquay. Okay, they stopped doing them in Torquay. Okay. Yeah, I think the in-person events, there is a challenge with that, isn't there? Because they have to have the numbers, and so that is one of the challenges with in-person dates events. I've had people say to me that they've had events cancelled because there isn't enough numbers. So that is the beauty of speedy dating, whereby or a company like that, whereby you can sign up to their website and you can you can try it out, and everybody can do it from the comfort of their own home, and it's really organized and all of that. So yeah, that's right. So any other questions, anything else that you want to ask? I suppose there's another question that people ask me: how can I prepare myself to recognize red flags without overthinking the process? So you want to be in the moment with a date. You want to be in the moment, and you want to be able to enjoy it. But you also want to be able to be aware and be able to spot red or green flags. You need to be able to get a sense of somebody's character. So it's about perhaps making a note of the red and the green flags before going on an event or before doing a speed dating event. Think about what are your clear personal boundaries and what are deal breakers for you, and then practice active listening. Just being in the moment, asking some questions, have some questions prepared, be prepared to answer other people's questions as well. You can tell if the other person is not interested. Yeah, sometimes you can tell, and sometimes it might not be that they're not interested. It might be, I don't know what you think, it might also be that they're nervous too. Sometimes we jump to conclusions about other people as well. Another question that I have sometimes is how do I handle someone who overshares during a speed date? So if somebody's oversharing about things and it's making you feel uncomfortable, perhaps about past relationships, or I don't know, things that you feel crosses a boundary, maybe you don't particularly want to talk about that on a speed date, you can just acknowledge their openness, and you can say that's interesting, and then steer the conversation back to a different topic, like saying tell me more about your hobbies, or tell me more about what brought you here today, something like that. It shows you're not being dismissive, but you want to shift the tone of the conversation.